Hello and welcome back friends. So now friends, since in the last section we have learned a good detail about icons. So now we are switching on to a new section which is the pop-ups in jQuery mobile. So now friends, I am very much sure that you are familiar with pop-ups since all our world is surrounded with technology, websites and applications. So you are familiar with the day-to-day pop-ups which are used in the apps. So now how to use the pop-ups in apps, how to close them, how to position them, and how to use different things in pop-ups to make them more creative. So these all are the parts which we are going to include in our section. So now this section will basically include the starting part or the initialization of adding pop-ups to your mobile apps. So basically I just tell you something about pop-up, like a technical definition. So pop-ups are basically similar to dialogues since we have learned dialogues in our pages part. So in that we both overlay part of page. So a pop-up box can be useful when you want to display like small text or photographs, maps or other content. So basically we are using two types of classes, data relation and data role. So how these classes are used in dev I am going to show you practically in the Dreamweaver software. So now we are moving on to a Dreamweaver software to understand the initialization of pop-ups or the basic steps to be followed while creating a pop-up in jQuery for mobile. So now friends, here in front of us is our Dreamweaver software and all these important files are included. Now starting with the body part, so div and data role is page. So now I am not using ID here since I am not using, or the ID does not plays an important role here, and I am just switching on to header. So div and data role is header. Now I will just put a heading to it, so h1 hello, and I will just close the div here. Now switching on to the second part, which means the main. So div and data role will be, let's say, main, and class I am taking as UI content. In this way, and I am just closing this. Now since you all know that whenever we click on a button it opens a pop-up, so the initial part to create a pop-up is to create a button. So moving on to A and href again, since we have to create a button for this, and let's take a ID for this, for which we are going to create a pop-up. So let's take it hash first pop-up. Now I am just entering, since I have not created this ID or this part, but I am entering because in the next step I will create it, and in this way, and I will just use the button for this. So the button will be, let's say, data relation. So firstly I will define a relation. So data relation will be pop-up, which means how the data is related to the part, or how the relation is going on. So we are creating a pop-up, so we have to use a pop-up here, and now I will create a button for it. So class UI button, and I will use firstly inline. So whenever you are using pop-up, the button should be inline. So inline is a must here, and then I will just add another property like I am cornering the button, so UI corner all. There are many more properties, as you all know, we have used, and in this way I will just create this button and click here for pop-up. This is the message I want to be on the button. Now what I will do is I will just create another part, which means the div. So div and data role is pop-up. Now what I will enter is I will just use the ID for this. So which ID I will use is the ID which I have entered here. So first pop-up. So I will just copy it and I will just paste it here, so there are no chances for the mistake. in this way. And now I will just put the paragraph, which means whatever the part I have to display for the pop-up. So P, I am the simple pop-up, and I will just close it here in this way. Now I will just close the div here. Now I am just going for the footer, so div and data role will be footer, since we are creating a complete page. Now again I will just provide a heading to it, so h3, and this is a footer, and again I am just closing the div here. Now saving it and going for the output part. So now friends, here in front of us is our output screen, which was as expected. So a button which is in the inline format and with the rounded corners. Now here it is saying that click here for pop-up, and when I click on this, it shows a simple pop-up, which was the message written in the paragraph tag. So I am the simple pop-up. So in this way we can create a simple pop-up here. So now friends, I am sure that you understood that how we can create a simple pop-up in jQuery for mobile. Now basically you are observing that the part which I was creating is not good in width or in padding part. So we can improve this by using some of the CSS content. So now what we have to do is, we just have to add a ID here. So where we are using the div data role equal to popup and ID. So we have entered a class, and in this class I will use content. So this content part basically increases the size of the pop-up. So now you can use this in different ways, like in this part I can first provide it with a heading. So let's say h4 is the heading, and I am using hello, this is a big pop-up, and here I have just closed it. I am entering here some information, and here I can also use span and can use CSS here. So style, and I want the font size to be bigger, so I want like it is to be 36 pixels in this way, and I can just create it like hello, and I am just closing it. Now I am using the bold tag, and I am using this is a bold and closing it. So in this way I have used two different things, and I can also use anything, like I am just filling it in this way. Now saving it and going for the output part. So now here in front of us is the output screen. Now let's check it. So click here for pop-up, and you can observe here that this is the heading hello, this is a big pop-up, and I am simple and hello, and this is all the things which are written in the bold, and all these things are in the things. Like here I have taken hello of the font 36 pixels, so it is bigger. So in this way we can make our pop-up creative. So if you want to increase your padding part, then you can use the style format. So style format is basically the CSS part. So if you are not known to CSS, you can just directly use this example to understand in better way. So friends, I am sure that you understood that how we can create a simple pop-up by calling the class or the ID. So in this way we are moving on to the further lectures. So now we will soon meet in our next lecture with some new concept. Thank you for watching.